Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the FUT birthday, HOUSSEM AOUAR. We're going to go through the card stats, clips and summary. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below if you're going to be getting any of these new Team 2 FUT birthday cards. Without further ado, let's get into the review. So guys, this is a team that I use, HOUSSEM AOUAR, and I played him in that cam spot, played him in the DM spot, and played him in the striker spot. And guys, my first impressions of this card, this is the best box-to-box midfielder I've used this year so far. And I'm saying that having used end of an era Wayne Rooney for quite some time, this card is absolutely phenomenal. He's so good at every part of the attacking game. Without further ado though, let's just get into the view. HOUSSEM AOUAR, 5'9", high medium work rate, right footed, 4-star moves, and 5-star weak. For 4 games played, 6 goals scored, and 4 assists. Now guys, the stats don't do him justice. He should have had a lot more assists and goals. I think this card is phenomenal. Everything about it is great. Whether you want to play him at the cam, the striker, or the DM spot as a box-to-box DM, I think this card can do it all. And those work rates, those stats, everything about it helps it to do that. In terms of the chemistry style, guys, I put the shadow on him. I wanted to try him deep in the midfield as well to see how well he would be able to cope with the defending aspect of things, and did very well, guys. So overall, I loved that as well. Getting into the stats, guys. The key stats of this card, the attack position and the finishing are both good. The long shots are phenomenal. The passing range is brilliant on this card, and how he passes the ball is fantastic. The agility, balance, ball control, reactions. This card has everything on it, guys. What you need for a box-to-box midfielder. If I was to compare to someone like Wayne Rooney, I would say he's on that level and even slightly better than that as well. The only cons of this card, guys, I would say is if you're going to use him as a box-to-box, then his defending is a little bit low. You will need to fix that a little bit in that regard. His agility looks a little low, guys. I didn't find him to be low, but you guys may feel like you need to boost that a little more. His shot power is only 88. So if you do want to help that out as well, just to give him a bit more lethal touch up front, then that would be something I would recommend doing. And finally, guys, the one thing that I had to pick out about him was his set pieces, because as an attacking midfielder or a defensive midfielder or deep line playmaker, I like them to be able to be good at set pieces. So he wasn't great at those, but I always had another player able to take them. So again, not too much of a fuss for me. Getting into the player traits, he's got the finesse shot trait, the flair trait, the playmaker, the outside of the foot shot trait, and the technical dribble trait. All fantastic traits and all play fantastically well to this card. This card is just one of my favorite cards this year so far, guys. I can't stress it enough. But now that we've covered all that, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting to some of HOUSSEM AOUAR's clips, and what you guys are going to see is his general ability to play any of the central positions that you need him to be able to play in a team. Now guys, the first thing I want to get into with this card is his pace. Now his pace is pretty decent. He has higher acceleration than he does sprint speed. I think it's 92 acceleration to 88 sprint speed, which means he's relatively quick, guys. I do feel like if you want a little bit better out of this card, then that is the first thing you need to improve upon, because sometimes he does lack a little bit. When you're just getting past those faster fullbacks, you do struggle a little bit in terms of that. The next thing I want to get into, guys, is actually his passing range, and this is one of the biggest pros for me, guys. You will see over and over again some beautiful passing from this card, and he's able to just play those balls through, really transition through the midfield well, and create opportunities with through balls, with passes over the top, with just brilliance everywhere in terms of passing the ball, and it really is lovely to have. You can have him in the deep position, controlling the midfield, pinging balls over the top like this. I mean, it was just over and over again, and it was the perfect ball to set up goal scoring opportunities. And that's what I loved about this AOUAR's passing, was that he was just able to do all of that. If we get into his dribbling, guys, his dribbling feels pretty good, and I think because he is really small and he is 5'9" as well, what ends up feeling even better is that he is very quick on the ball, just in terms of his size as well. He doesn't move clunky because he is so small and lean, and what that means as well, guys, is that I didn't really feel like I had to boost this in any regard. I felt like I moved pretty smoothly with him. However, if you did choose to boost that a little bit, because the stats are a little bit lower, then what you'd get is an extremely quick attack midfielder or striker, and I think that card would really play well in the cam spot or the striker spot as well. Particularly for the deeper spots, though, I don't think it's honestly needed. I think his link-up play, his dribbling, his movement is all fantastic even without that boost there. Now, guys, the next thing I want to get into is actually his shooting. Now guys, over and over again I was able to create opportunities. Now you'll see a couple of opportunities here where I'm missing chances. I wouldn't actually blame that on AOUAR. I actually think my laggy connection was really poor whilst I was playing these, so I was struggling a little bit to time shots correctly. So in some of these I actually feel like he should have had more and would have had more had I had a better opportunity to do so, to stick them away. But overall, guys, I feel like this card finished really well. His shooting is really good, and especially with that finesse shot trait as well, guys, what it gives you is just you're able to transition to outside of that box and then just finish chances off really well as well. Now guys, the next thing I want to get into, and it's probably the most important part of all of this, is where do you play him? Now guys, for me, this card needs to be played either at attack midfield or the DM spot, of course, as you guys will do. I don't feel like he's good out wide as a wide cam, but he will be able to play there if you choose to play him there. Striker as well, I think he's slightly disadvantaged because of his body type and size. However, what I would say, guys, is that in all of those positions, he will be able to deliver. I mean, you guys can see here, that lovely dribbling there. He's able to move through the midfield so well, get into the attack, and start creating opportunities. That it's really fun to use this card. And as we get into some of the goals I scored with him, you're just going to see how well this card was able to perform for me in all aspects. So, guys, it really doesn't matter, I think, where you put this card. As long as you have him on that 10 chem, you'll be able to use him in any position that you want. I mean, his movement was phenomenal, his shooting was great, his passing was great. And overall, guys, for me, I'm going to play him deeper just because in terms of overall, when you boost that defending, which is a little bit weak, he becomes a fantastic box-to-box. And I think that really is the best position for this card. As we get into the final few shots, guys, you're just going to see more of the same. Now, a lot of these look like easy finishes, but what you're seeing, guys, is actually quite difficult finish because he's putting them all in the top corner, or he's finishing them off where they're not so easy, where other players may shoot them straight at the keeper. And in this final clip, it's just HOUSSEM AOUAR through and through, lays the ball off there, gets it back, and how's this for a finesse shot here right into the far side. So, guys, getting to this final HOUSSEM AOUAR summary: 1080 on the PlayStation, 811 on Xbox, and 105 on the PC. Now, guys, we're not going to look too much into prices. The prices are so volatile right now. We're not going to pay too much heed to that. But in terms of the stats, guys, just look at those stats. They are so evenly distributed, so well distributed as well. And I think this card is absolutely fantastic in terms of how he can play. Now, guys, the chemistry style I'm going to recommend depends on where you're going to play him, of course. If you are going to play him up front, then it's best to look at boosting his shooting and his pace. I think the Hunter, of course, is a great chemistry style for that. If you're going to look in the defensive side, in the deep lying playmaker, I think, of course, a Shadow would be the best way to go. He is able then to tackle and defend, do very well, and then also, of course, very pacey. If you're going to play him in between, guys, that leaves a lot of room for experimentation. I don't really have a recommended chemistry style for that, as I do think I would play him deeper. So I would say, guys, that you need to consider that in your own time, and where you would really want to play this card in terms of how you want to play it as well. In terms of similar players, guys, I do think that this card has got some sort of similarities to Wayne Rooney, although that card hasn't popped up here. Renato Sanchez, a little more physical than this card. I would say this HOUSSEM AOUAR is more of a slight build, more of a lean build, and that allows him to be a little more slippery against opponents as well. This card, again, very similar to how Wayne Rooney plays. Wayne Rooney, of course, a lot more stocky and physical as well. This HOUSSEM AOUAR, of course, nowhere near that. But in terms of slightness and sleekness, this card is way better. I think he's actually a better box-to-box midfielder. In terms of linkability, guys, you've of course got perfect links to Dembele, Dubois, Reine Adelaide, Kaká, Chekri, and all sorts of other players. Of course, strong links to French players from Ligue 1, French icons, as well as other players from Lyon, of which there are many. Of course, got that What If plus Marcelo, the French link to the newly released FUT birthday Dimitri Payet. Let me know if you want me to do a review on that one, guys. I'm more than happy to have a look at that and see if it's affordable, as well as other players such as Memphis Depay, Steve Mandanda, Pierre Lesmelu, Mattia De Chilio, Bamba. So many good links in there, guys, that I really do think that this card is 100% worth it in terms of doing it, which leads me on to my final recommendation, guys. I bought this card for 880k. I sold him for 1,080,000. Now, guys, I think that's just a reaction to, of course, the packs kind of calming down a little bit. I do think the price will drop under 1 million as the week goes on. However, guys, this is one of the better cards that I've used throughout both weeks of the FUT birthday promo. I would not be surprised if the price stays high for this card. Having said that, guys, this is one of the best cards I've used of the FUT birthday promo. He's unbelievable in terms of box-to-box player, in cam, in striker. He'll be able to do anything you need him to be able to do. So, guys, I would say that please do be aware that if you are going to pick up this card, keep a close eye on his price, especially around those happy hour times, because that's really when he's going to drop off the most before he recovers again. And I think this card is 100% worth the price tag. I even think he's worth 1 million coins right now, even though he is set to drop below that. So just bear that in mind, guys, that he is really worth it right now. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.